July 11th, we start off with Alcoa in the earnings. And what MMTs are going to find out that the first week is fairly a light week. All eyes will be on Alcoa because everyone is going to want to know what Alcoa is doing. So goes Alcoa, so go the earnings. Well, hey, that's a public mindset. Who cares? We're going to want to know how they're executing in their aluminum, what's going on, and how their worldwide productions are going. Alcoa kicks it off. Okay. The other ones, like Novelis and the Semi, we'll just be watching. Okay. Now, we understand that Info Systems is a major player, and we've already filled that out, and we're going to be looking at Info Systems in the IT. We'll be looking at Yum Brands to understand how the fast food is executing around the world in the earnings, but doesn't really move a lot. The bellwether that we're going to be interested in is JP Morgan in the first week, and then we're going to have Google Inc. The rest of these, like JB Hunt in the trucking sector, we'll deal with those individually. We've already set up the alert list on these major bellwethers in the very first week of the earnings season. When we go to the second week of the earnings season, we are going to find out here that stocks report before the opening bell, because they do. And then after the close. IBM is something that we're going to want to find out about. Exactly how it's going to trade. We're going to find out where all, and Mosaic is in here. Okay, the earnings in the second week really pick up in its nature. Look at the list, how long it gets before the close and after the close for the new people here. And we look at all of these reports, as we always do, and then we train around these reports and we look for value. But most importantly is it's going to tell us where the earnings cycle is in a very broad-based sector type and economy, U.S. earnings versus international earnings, and the companies just keep going on and on and on and on. And this is what will be ahead of you. In your yearly apprenticeship, you get 4 of these quarterly earnings, and there are lots of things that go on in after-hours trading to learn how to trade all of these headline events. We pick the ones that have the biggest price movement, the most volatility in the earnings for one reason, is because they get rewarded when they do well, but then they get punished when they don't, and you learn how to get long and short based on the headline news, based on guidance, based on forward-looking projections. So, earnings season is quite a busy period of time. Before the open and pre-market, lots of companies come out, as you can see. Friday before the open, we have a lot of them coming out Friday before the open in the second week. And you're going to have bellwethers that move the markets. Then when we get back up here to the top, we can take a look at the next following week. Okay, and there'll be a scorecard on these earnings to each different sector as to where the ones that guided down, the ones that guided up, the ones that guided flat. Monday, July 25th, before the opening bell, you'll have a slew of these earnings that come out before the opening bell, and you'll have Soho here, that's that Chinese ADR, and July 25th, you can see here that after the close. Now watch how deep after the close gets. You start getting into a lot of the Broadcom earnings, a lot of the S&P 500 earnings will be in here. After the close, the lists get very long after the close. You'll have Texas Instruments. You'll learn in the earnings season what the bellwethers are. Look at the long list before the opening bell here. Dow 30, S&P 500, large cap S&P 100, different sectors and indices will be reporting for before that opening bell. But one of the ones that we always take a look at is leaders, and you'll be taught what the leaders are. And that is where the SMF MMT earnings database starts. Amazon.com, you're going to want to fill that out, get investor relations there, get emails, updates, headlines, press releases. In the restaurant sectors, we'll be taking a look at Buffalo Wild Wings. We always cover it. We click on there, then we would fill our information, and we get updates from the company and investor relations. Some of the others that we cover that will be here, look at how long the list gets. It gets extremely long, and we'll be very, very, very busy during this period of time coming up. And this is the third week of earnings that will be out. And Wednesday here, it gets long list before the open. Gee. And here we go. After the close. So this is what it's going to be like. And we cover, and we've been dealing with these new companies that have come and the old ones forever, and it doesn't matter. It's how you're trained around it, and look at the list and see how they grow. This is what lays ahead of you right here, right now. And they get long and they get deep. And then we get down to a point where we get the bulk of them out and we get the scorecard between the upside guidances, the downside guidances, the inline guidances, and the forward-looking ways that these things trade and where institutional ownership is, and lots of various different other things I'm not going to talk about on the video. It's all part of your training, though, in the earnings cycle that's included in your MMT apprenticeship year. Now, if you're a public client, it's going to cost you $4,995 to go through a quarterly earnings. If you're an MMT, well, it's included in their package. The thing about it is mastering this period. So we just stop right there. August 1 through the 5th is where we get through the bulk of them, and we really start getting down toward the first month of these earnings that you see here. You can see that the list is long between that period here, and this is where we get through a lot of them. A lot of the big ones, a lot of the big techs have long already reported. A lot of the big semis that have reported. A lot of the bigger software ones have reported. But remember, if they're on the exchange, they have to report. So we get into more of a second tier type structure stocks that we do look at. But the bellwethers is what is the key. The leadership is when they report is the key. And you can see that this earnings list will go on and on. And here, Friday before the opening bell. So that takes us up to 1 calendar month of earnings, basically. And we will go through them one by one. And we went through August 1 through 5th. And we started 11th. So these are the 4 weeks. 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 weeks. The bellwethers is what you'll be learned to develop your earnings database on the bellwethers, the leadership in the sectors. And we will leave it at that.